Texan Global School. Multiplication. 10 times table. In this class, the multiplication of whole numbers is analyzed, specifically multiplying by 10. Remember that multiplication is repeated addition. This means that multiplying implies adding one of them, the number of times of the other. Any number multiplied by 10 results in the same number tenfold. Let's see a first example. If we multiply 10 by 1, this means that we add 10 only once, or we add 1 10 times. Therefore, 10 times 1 is 10. The model represents 10 squares and 10 rows by a column. So, we have 10 ones. Hence, we conclude that 10 times 1 is 10. If we now multiply 10 by 2, this means that we add 10 2 times, or we add 2 10 times. Therefore, 10 times 2 is 20. The model represents 10 rows by 2 columns, thus having 20 squares or 20 ones. Hence, we conclude that 10 times 2 is 20. Now, multiply 10 by 3. We add 10 3 times, or we add 3 10 times. Therefore, 10 times 3 is 30. The model represents 10 rows by 3 columns. So we have 30 ones. Thus, we conclude that 10 times 3 is 30. Then, multiply 10 by 4. We add 10 4 times, or we add 4 10 times. Therefore, 10 times 4 is 40. The model represents 10 rows by 4 columns. So we have 40 ones. Thus, we conclude that 10 times 4 is 40. Then, multiply 10 by 5. We add 10 5 times, or we add 5 10 times. Therefore, 10 times 5 is 50. The model represents 10 rows by 5 columns. So we have 50 ones. Thus, we conclude that 10 times 5 is 50. Now, multiply 10 by 6. We add 10 6 times, or we add 6 10 times. Therefore, 10 times 6 is 60. The model represents 10 rows by 6 columns. So we have 60 ones. Hence, we can conclude that 10 times 6 is 60. Now, multiply 10 by 7. We add 10 7 times, or we add 7 10 times. Therefore, 10 times 7 is 70. The model represents 10 rows by 7 columns. So we have 70 ones. Hence, we can conclude that 10 times 7 is 70. Now, multiply 10 by 8. So we add 10 8 times, or we add 8 10 times. Therefore, 10 times 8 is 80. The model represents 10 rows by 8 columns. So we have 80 ones. Hence, we conclude that 10 times 8 is 80. Then, multiply 10 by 9. We add 10 9 times, or we add 9 10 times. Therefore, 10 times 9 is 90. The model represents 10 rows by 9 columns. So we have 90 ones. Hence, we conclude that 10 times 9 is 90. Finally, multiply 10 by 10. So we add 10 10 times. Therefore, 10 times 10 is 100. The model represents 10 rows by 10 columns. So we have 100 ones. Thus, we conclude that 10 times 10 is 100. From this specific case, the square of a number is derived. Therefore, multiplying 10 by 10 is equivalent to 10 squared. That is, multiply the base 10, the number of times of the exponent 2. This is the reason why the model represents a square and not a rectangle as in previous cases. In summary, any number multiplied by 10 results in the same value tenfold. 10 times 1 is 10. 10 times 2, 20. 10 times 3, 30. 10 times 4, 40. 10 times 5, 50. 10 times 6, 60. 10 times 7, 70. 10 times 8, 80. 10 times 9, 90. 10 times 10, 100. Observe the pattern in the table of how, to each result, 10 units are added. So, by multiplying any number by 10, just add a 0 at the end. Texan Global School. Global online learning. Knowledge for the world. www.texanglobalschool.com